This episode of Recruit a Friend is brought to you by Visage. Visage is a collaborative organization dedicated to connecting gender minorities from all aspects of WoW with experts and professionals in the field. Their mission is to empower, encourage, educate, and elevate gender minorities to the same positions of authority, respect, and visibility as their male counterparts through individual mentorship, educational workshops, job opportunities in esports, and more. Greetings, programs, and welcome to another episode of Recruit a Friend, the show where we learn about the people behind the keyboard. Today, we're lucky to sit down with a community guru, I think is the best description for this individual, from Visage, to Perky Pugs, and everything in between. Let's give a big Recruit a Friend welcome to Go Go Gadget Kat. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I am also quite excited. I used to watch a lot of, I have to ask, my very first question, I used to watch a lot of Inspector Gadget as a kid. Is your name based on Inspector Gadget? It
certainly is. Yes, I think I came up with it in high school. Maybe nice. I needed a new email address, and I don't know why that popped into my head, but I've stuck with it ever since, and I think I love it. I think a good throwback. Thank you.
It is a great throwback. I was talking to somebody. I don't like to tell who's on the season before it happens, and so I was talking to an individual while looking through my guest list, and I said, in the voice call, "I'll get you next time, Gadget." And they were like, "Are you watching Inspector Gadget?" And I was like, no. So I almost gave myself away.
I love that. I'm glad you dig it.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Thank you.
Okay, enough children's cartoons from far too long ago. Kat, why don't you tell us, is it okay if I call you Kat, or do you prefer Miss Gadget?
Miss Gadget, oh my gosh. That's my mother's name.
That is a great answer.
Kat works great for me, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Kat, how did you first find yourself in the world of Warcraft?
Oh my gosh. So I was 19. I started playing my first year of college. It must have been very late Burning Crusade. And I had a boyfriend who I think didn't want to call me and talk on the phone every night. So he bought me WoW so that I would play with him and he wouldn't have to call and keep chatting with me, and we would be distracted by WoW instead. I think that was the ultimate plan there.
Wow. Kind of diabolical, but also kind of genius.
A little genius, right? I know.
Yeah.
It was my first ever MMO. And I had really never seen anything like it. He told me Blood Elves are the best race. So I started there. It was... college was my first time away from home, the first time I moved out of state. I made the mistake of joining a sorority, so I did not belong at all. And I think it was a very lonely time in my life, and WoW perfectly filled that need to escape. And it really stuck with me, obviously.
I love it. That is a great answer. Phi Kappa Beta wasn't your calling? That wasn't... I don't know if that's a real... I made that up.
Probably. It probably is. I was an Alpha Phi. Not my calling. I'm really not a partier. I just totally didn't fit in. I felt like such a weirdo all the time. So yeah, not a great choice.
I love it. Okay, so what class did you start on? So Mr. Gadget, the former Mr. Gadget, get you the game. What class did you start with? So
I started with a hunter.
Okay, good choice.
Which he also told me was the best class to play.
He sounds like a smart guy. Blood elves, hunters, all of these things. This all tracks.
He set me up well. I think props to him for that. Totally loved it. Of course, there's that stereotype about women playing hunters because they get to collect pets, and I will say for myself that that is so true. I was so stoked. They all had special names. I thought very carefully about what pet I was going to tame next. It was a huge thing.
Nice. Are you excited for the stable UI rework that's coming up?
So much. Yes, I really am.
I guess that leads into my next question. Do you still play Hunter?
I have several hunters, but I have been mostly healing since Wrath.
Okay.
So at this point, I pretty much play the healer that my guild needs me to play.
Right. We don't have a holy paladin. Hey, somebody call Kat.
Precisely. It has been priest, but we'll see what War Within brings.
All right. It's going to be whole. Based on the tuning, it's going to be holy.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where that ends up. I don't know. It might be my first time ever playing a Mistweaver in progression. I don't know.
They're very punchy.
Yeah, they're really punchy. That's very true.
Yeah. So you're healing now. I have to ask then, at what point did you say, you know what? Well, I guess you said Wrath, that you switched from Hunter to Healer. Why?
At that point, I really had only played the Hunter. This was my only max level character. And I really wanted to try Druid. I was very, very into the idea. And I've always felt like kind of the support friend. So I loved the idea of playing something that wasn't just shooting everything. So I picked up Druid to try it and completely fell in love and played Resto Druid all throughout Wrath. I did probably my most serious rating in Wrath on the Resto Druid.
Really? Do you still raid at like a competitive level? And by competitive, I mean above LFR?
Well, I guess by that definition, sure. I do run a CE guild.
Okay.
I think I call us a casual CE guild. We raid about 5 hours a week. But I think we just earned our 10th CE with Fire-Rack. So yeah, we're still going. I don't play as much anymore. Obviously I have so many things on my plate all of a sudden that I never expected. So I've become more of the bench warmer sub healer at this point.
Okay.
But they are going strong.
I love that. When did you, did you start the guild or did you join a guild and then take over because that's just sort of what you do?
Yes, it's all mine. No, I started it with my best friend who I met in a Wrath guild. So we played together throughout Wrath. We played together kind of sporadically in Cataclysm, and then played a lot together in MOP again, and he and I started a guild early Siege of Orgrimmar, and that's still going strong.
Wow, that's a long time. What's your to still be gaining CE? CE is not an easy feat by any means. I don't think any guild that attains CE can really call themselves casual. But what's your secret? What's the secret to your success? Like, how do you do that? Especially with like rosters the way they are, it's so difficult to keep people together on a team.
It is, yeah. I think really I went into it needing an escape from the general misogyny and environment that I was finding always since I've started raiding. It's always been a little bit miserable. And we were in a guild where I did a lot of work, but for some reason I was always like the troublemaker. If I would say this, we have to adhere to this rule for everybody, then I was like, making the drama and being hysterical, and it just became so exhausting to kind of chunk off pieces of myself to be small enough to be okay for these people. And I got so sick of it. And I wanted to have somewhere that I felt safe and where my friends and the people I cared about felt safe. And that's always been my number one goal. And I think, it's a little bit harder to recruit that way because I am asking people, do you care about other people? Do you care about being inclusive? Can you not use gamer words? And that's still kind of an issue, especially at the CE level. So recruiting can be a little bit more difficult, but I think we have a ton of loyalty. And I still have people in the guilds who have retired from raiding but joined us. The very first, founding members of the guild still playing with us. And I have people who've been raiding with us since Legion and even earlier. So cultivating that community first has been huge for me in building a place that people really want to play and know each other and build friendships instead of just logging into raid and then doing their own thing. That has been crucial to keeping everyone together and playing together and keeping them happy to come to raid all the time. I really think community has been the secret for us.
I'm not gonna lie, that's the best answer I've ever heard to that question.
Thank you.
I love that. We have the guild that I'm currently in has a very similar mentality, and it is all driven also by our raid leader, who I think and she has the same mentality. It's I'm recruiting people first. Right. Your parses, while a factor, are not the factor. Right. Are you a good person? If yes, check this box.
That's exactly it. People first. Always.
Yeah. And it's obviously a key to success for your guild, for her guild. It's like for our guild. It's funny because it's not funny, but everybody uses that term gamer words. Yeah. And I wish that the gamer words were actually words of inclusivity and words of compassion and empathy, as opposed to words that are divisive. But maybe someday we'll say gamer words and it'll be a good thing.
Oh, I so hope so. I can't wait. Someday I hope we're there, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I love that. I love that you had that fire inside you to say, I'm not going to make myself less than so you feel comfortable. And I'm just going to build this Xanadu myself. We need a place. It needs to exist. You Thanos'd it. I'll do it myself.
Well, I came across so many guilds who were saying, you can join, but only your boyfriend can be on the raid team because we don't put women on the raid team. Or,
oh my God.
You can join, but only your boyfriend can be an officer because we don't like women in officer role. It just,
right.
I was like, where can I find a place that's going to feel safe and welcoming? And I got sick of looking, so tired of it. I'll do it myself. I'll make it the way that I want it to be. And if it works out, awesome. And it obviously has been great. We found our audience, and I'm really, really grateful for that.
I love it. Do you have any early memories from the guild? I much prefer hearing people's stories of joy and passion as opposed to the misery, because we hear so much misery all day long.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want to focus on those shitty people that you had to put up with. The garbage people can stay in their garbage homes. I want to hear. Oh, I'm sorry. If you're listening to the show and you're one of the garbage people, you can unsub.
Sucks to suck, I guess. I don't know.
I want to hear. Do you have any memories of those early days, or even mid days when you were raiding, or what are some of your favorite memories from that time as Kat, the raid leader?
Thankfully, I didn't have to raid lead for too long because I'm actually really bad at it.
Okay.
I'm not a raid leader. but I have had two amazing raid leaders now, and I'm so thankful for them. Probably one of my very favorite memories ever is our first real CE. So we got CE on Xavius, right? Because everybody did. But we got our first real CE on Argus. It was huge. It was so meaningful. Everybody still makes fun of me to this day because I cried so much. I was so happy and so proud. And of course, I think we still have the VOD somewhere, but that is the poll where we're stacking up to die together and go in the tree. And I said, everybody touch butts. And now that lives forever as our kill video for our Argus CE. But
is that still a common call out
yes,
for
absolutely.
everybody touch button?
It's a propaganda guild thing forever now. I'll never get away from it.
I'm gonna make it so every episode gets like its own title. Yours is gonna be everyone touch buttons. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. When you see that thumbnail. That's great. What a great first CE that is.
Yeah, for sure. Great. It's great. And our raid leader got his legendary trinket from that kill as well and yelled about it, and you can hear that. You can hear that in the recording as well.
Nice.
So
can we find this? Where's this recording at? Yeah, I want to see this.
I'm sure I can find that VOD. Yeah. I'll send it right over your way.
I love it. That's great. All right. So managing a guild is not an easy task. Being a GM, recruiting, even rating, all of that is very difficult. But apparently that wasn't enough for Go Go Gadget Kat. And you got involved with the Liquid Women in Warcraft program. We'll say program.
Program works totally.
Initiative, yeah. And then eventually that morphed into Visage. I always want to say Visage.
I know, me too. I'm like, does it rhyme with massage? Or I keep saying Visage, and I think that's what we're gonna roll with.
All right,
but
we'll go with Visage. Morphed into that. But what was that process like? Can you walk me through like its inception? You're getting on board with it. You know. Taking over like you did with your guild, all this stuff.
Yes, I can. So I have been an admin in Perky Pugs, which is another really big inclusive community, for a while. And through that, I made some amazing connections. And Liquid, while acquiring the now Liquid Guild, wanted to do something impactful for the World of Warcraft community at the same time. So the original founder of Liquid Women in Warcraft and I had a conversation that involved a Twitter poll just asking women and gender minorities, why aren't you playing at the level you want to play at? Or why aren't you playing at a high level in WoW? And the answers were pretty much what we expected, right? It's a miserable time. I've been sexually harassed. I've been stalked. Just awful stories all the way around. And that sort of sparked the initial Liquid Women in Warcraft idea. So it was the two of us, and we brought Hula Hoops on around the same time, and then Ferris. And so we started with the four of us, really trying to build an initiative entirely from basically a Twitter thread.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot. Oh, it's so much work.
It is. Yeah. How do you get people to buy in when early stages? How do you convince people who have seen communities like this rise up in the past? I'm certain. And who that maybe didn't pan out to be everything that they advertised they would be. How do you get people to buy in and say, hey, no, listen, this is going to be different?
I think I'm very, very thankful that we had the Liquid name attached for so long, because I think that gave us a lot of credibility. So certainly having their socials promoting us a little bit, having Aya and Nagura on board to promote us, having the big names like Hula and Ferris involved, those were all really huge for getting the attention and the eyes on us. And then we really did have to work hard to keep all of the influx of people staying in the community. And we had to prove to them, look, we're keeping this a safe space. We're banning the trolls. We're not putting up with any nonsense. We're not entertaining those conversations. We're doing the right things. We want to maintain this as a comfortable place for you. That was the hard part, and it continues to be the hardest part, but totally worth it, obviously.
Yeah, obviously very worth it.
Yes.
Can we talk about, I don't know if there's any legal ramification or not, but can we talk about the rebranding from Liquid Women in Warcraft to Visage and that process, and maybe some of the challenges with that, and maybe some of the benefits to being your own thing now?
Absolutely. So Liquid needed to make some adjustments and some budget cuts, and we sort of brought out a plan and a petition and asked them, please pass this along to us. Pass us the Discord. Please let us keep this going. This is so meaningful. Mm-hmm. And they did. So the first...
Wow, that was way less struggle than I expected to hear.
Really, I mean, obviously there was like the waiting game that was so stressful. And we weren't sure what was going to happen. I wasn't sure that they would pass me the Discord. So we had some committee members who were like replicating the whole thing in another Discord just in case.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really stressful, really scary time. I was constantly stressing out about it and really worried that they would just say no and close down the whole thing. And I'm really thankful that they saw the value in continuing this program and passing it all to us. So the first step obviously was rebranding quickly. So we had to change all the graphics, and we switched the name just to Women in Warcraft for a while. Put up like a very default like clip art graphic for a while. And we have been sort of quietly working on the rebrand and restructuring and all of that, which has been a huge process. It's important to us. From the beginning, we were like, I don't know if Women in Warcraft is necessarily the inclusive name that we want it to be. Because there are a lot of gender minorities who do feel excluded by that specific term. And we don't want that to be a factor. It is a place for gender minorities to feel educated and empowered and supported. But allies, people who are interested in learning and growing, are equally welcome. And we do need those voices. We need the voices from men in the community who are impactful. We need that support. I wish it weren't the case that we have to have strong male voices to bolster us. I wish that we could be enough on our own, but that's just not the reality of the world. So we had to present something that felt welcoming and inclusive for gender minorities and allies both.
Right.
So we had been kind of floating the idea of rebranding almost since the beginning. And we did ask for community input. And Visage actually came from a community member who proposed it. So shout out to Lux for that incredible suggestion. Visibility, inclusivity, support, and advocacy in gaming and esports. Visage. Perfect name. perfect tie-in to World of Warcraft, Dragonflight in particular.
Right.
We just had like the name day quest come out, and the Visage, the idea of the dragons finding their visages that perfectly encapsulate their identities, just all together wrapped up perfectly, really beautifully. I don't know that we could have planned that better if we tried.
That's serendipitous.
Yeah,
that is the
absolutely.
synergy there
It was
is
perfection.
wild.
Yeah.
That's
Really.
Blizzard, if you're listening, and you might be, the next new holiday needs to be Visage Day.
I would love that. That would be amazing. They also came out with the masquerade masks on the trading post right after we dropped our
your new logo.
Our logo, and so the whole thing has just been like, wow, I can't believe this is happening.
That's great. It's almost like you've got somebody on the inside.
I know. Wouldn't that be incredible? We don't, but hey, anybody who's listening.
I mean, we don't know. Joanna Ferries is sort of like quietly everywhere. She could be.
That's true. Ooh, great point. Oh.
Yeah. She could be in there. She's in the Discord. I love it. So have you been, you keep saying everything you have said, you said us, we, us. It's a community. It's a collective group. I want to ask about you. Have you always been like I don't want to say the head of Visage, but have you been is director the right term? What is your actual official position, I guess, instead of me just making up Empress?
Empress, oh my gosh. That's way too important sounding.
Okay.
I started out sort of as a community manager under Liquid. Mm-hmm. And then everyone sort of unanimously agreed as we switched and started to rebrand that I would take executive director role now. So that's terrifying. I am honored. I am so honored, and I hope every single day with every fiber of my being that I can live up to that and be the person that they believe me to be. But that is truly terrifying in a lot of ways. Very exciting and scary. So now I guess I'm the official head of Visage, the executive director. But we do have a leadership committee of 7 people total. And we have worked together this whole time to restructure and rebrand. And we make decisions together. We talk about everything, reviewing all of the graphics, everything together. And then I sort of get, I suppose, like an extra vote.
2 votes. 2 votes for Kat.
Yes.
That's great. I love it. I feel like everything in this podcast, like my actual podcast, has been building to this moment because I've had so many members from Women in Warcraft and then Visage on the show. It's like I've just been working my way to the top.
Oh my gosh, it is wild to me to be the top of anything. But of something of this magnitude. The pressure is immense, but I am so happy and so honored, and I couldn't be more dedicated and excited to do right by the community as much as humanly possible.
I love it. I'm excited to see what comes next. Can you give us any sneak peeks, like anything that's in the pipe for Visage?
Yes. I certainly can.
Do I have to sign an NDA first, or
no?
Okay, good.
But don't tell hula hoops.
All right, deal. She's not going to listen to this anyway. Don't worry.
Oh, my feelings will be big hurt if she doesn't listen to this.
We love
you. We are currently planning. Obviously, we unleashed the rebrand for the community first in Discord. We gave people a feedback thread. It's so important that we make everybody feel welcome and heard. And we didn't want to just make the change and say, hey, this is how it is now.
Right.
So we gave the community time to adjust and give their thoughts and feedback. So we're working now on our going public, our socials, finally unleashing all of that, having that control now for ourselves instead of needing to pass things to Liquid and say, hey, can you fit this in your social schedule somewhere? So the next step for us will be going very, very openly public with our rebrand, unrolling all of the socials. And we are about to celebrate our rebirth day. So
your Visage Day. You're going to celebrate your Visage Day.
Exactly. We have a lot of fun things planned
Nice.
that will be coming soon in July. Liquid Women in Warcraft first went public at the beginning of July 2 years ago. So we're excited to sort of put our Visage Day celebration on the same date and celebrate our rebrand, hopefully welcome a bunch of new people into the community, and finally announce publicly everywhere, hey, we're here, this is our name, you're welcome to be here, and we want you here.
That's great. Will we be getting Visage masquerade masks on approved guilds on Raider.io?
Yep, that is coming. I don't know. I actually don't know what it looks like. But I know that the approved guilds are getting new logos and little badges. I'm really excited.
I'm so excited. Kat, this is a big deal. I know before we were recording, I mentioned, I started by saying, hey, I'm really happy to have you here. You're a big deal. And you were like, oh my gosh, no. But you are. And it's great that you're so humble about it. You're part of Visage. You're part of Perky Pugs. You have built from the ground up your own inclusive community in your guild. How important is it now, maybe now more than ever, to have that representation, to have those spaces where people can just unabashedly be themselves?
So, to me, it's everything. There is so much power in belonging somewhere. So many marginalized people feel alone and isolated in their guilds and communities and anywhere online, because the negative voices are so much louder. And it's so hard to speak up for yourself and for others when you feel nobody is there to back you up. So I think having a supportive community who espouses these positive values and this goal of empowering and educating and supporting, that is paramount. Everybody needs a space to belong, and we need to cultivate these spaces so the positive voices are louder. And those of us who are privileged enough to be able to speak up and have a positive voice, we need to be the loudest, and we need to provide those spaces so that everyone feels empowered to do that same thing. So that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I love that. Where, I can cut this out if you don't want to talk about this. Where do I have heard through research that you also are, I don't want to say suffer, but you also have a chronic illness. Is that correct?
I do. Yes.
And I can't imagine, like, that must also come with its own series of challenges. Where does that fire inside you come from to deal with that on top of everything else and still say, I'm going to build something better?
That's actually a huge part, to be honest. Yeah. Having a chronic illness is like slogging through a swamp every single day.
Yeah.
So I was diagnosed right after I turned 21. with rheumatoid arthritis, which is a chronic degenerative joint disease. I had no idea what it was before I ended up in a rheumatologist's office on August 1st and came out with a diagnosis. And it progressed incredibly quickly. I think by September, October of that year, I needed help getting out of bed in the morning. My partner had to lift me up and walk with me. So it's been incredibly disabling so quickly. And I feel like I lost every single thing that I had planned for my life in one fell swoop with that diagnosis. And part of being chronically ill is learning that nobody wants to talk about it. Right? We live in a society where you're supposed to go to the doctor and they fix you and they give you meds and then you're better. So nobody wants to talk to you about your illness that is never going away. I lost so many valuable friendships and relationships to this illness. I watched all of my closest friends grow up, finish their degrees, move on to grad school, move out to their adult lives while I felt like I was stuck behind. And that was kind of around the time that I started my guilt. So for me, belonging is having a place where people don't care that my body feels wrong or that I walk with a cane, and they don't care that I was different before, that I was a different person. And they are my family, and they love me because of and in spite of my physical challenges. So that has been, I'm not being hyperbolic. That has been a lifesaver for me to have a chosen family who values me in that way. And I desperately want that for everybody. Everybody deserves to have a place to belong.
It's a good thing that this episode is not on camera because I'm openly weeping.
Oh, me too, totally.
That's incredible. I love the World of Warcraft Blizzard, the game world that they've created for us, and there are so many people, friends of mine, family of mine, and new friends that I've met through the show who gain so much from the game than just IO and eye level, and it always makes me happy to hear that. I shouldn't ask that question, Kat. Well, we were talking about happy stuff.
I don't know. I think this is like truly for me the ultimate happiness is looking at my guilt and thinking about what they have helped me create, and then they have opened the door for everything else that has come my way. Their help in Perky Pugs and helping me with the AOTC runs that Perky Pugs does at the end of every expansion has opened doors for me in Perky Pugs, which opened doors for me for Visage, and all of the networking I have done since. So I owe so much to my guild, and it's the best thing. it's the best thing to know that they are always rooting for me, and we love each other so much. And it's so many people still say, oh, online friendships aren't really a thing, but I think everybody who's made a friend in World of Warcraft knows that's a total lie.
Yeah.
And these people just mean everything to me, and I love them so much.
Yeah, that's right.
And
People
that's
who
the
say
best
that have hearts of stone, Kat. They have hearts of stone. They're Dr. Claw.
Great comparison. They are. They just you have to be willing to open your mind a little bit and evaluate what a friendship looks like for you.
That's right.
And it's not always that you can sit in the same room.
That's right.
Right? So,
Yeah. I love it. That's great. That's great. That is what a great show. Listen, I told Potty Chicken last season that her episode was my favorite episode of all time, but I'm changing that. Okay. You're my new favorite episode. Don't listen. You can't tell anybody else. All right.
I'm so honored. She is absolutely incredible. So that's just thank you so much.
You got to keep this between us. You're
absolutely.
You're the benchmark now. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kat. Okay, let's take. We want to take away Visage. We want to take away Perky Pugs, your guild, everything. What does the future hold for Kat?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's hard to talk about what my future holds without all of those things, to be honest.
Right.
When I got sick, I was working on my degree, and my university was very, very, very awful about being accommodating and helping me to finish that. So I would love to finish my degree. I would love to get a master's. Before all of this, before the everything, in the before times, I really wanted to be an environmental attorney and work on cases of environmental justice. Now, I didn't start out knowing anything about DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, but it means everything to me, and it's so important. And my work with Visage has been invigorating, and it's given me a new dream and new goals that I thought I would never find again after I got sick. So, yeah, I would love to finish my degree. I would love to get a master's in public policy and work on DEI issues. And even if I continue down this path with Visage, which of course I will, but if I never find another career path, and this is where I am, I'm so happy with that.
That's a great answer. University of Ottawa, if you're listening, we need to hook Kat up with a master's degree. So let's make that happen.
Please, I'm really smart. I promise I can do it.
Yeah. I've heard enough. Let's give her a master's. Let's make it happen.
Oh, if only it worked that way.
Yeah, it would be great. How many likes? How many likes do we need for a master's? All right.
Hey friends, sorry to interrupt. Let me tell you what this season's sponsor, Guilds of WoW. Simplify your guild management with seamless Battle.net and WoW API integration for all game versions with flexible viewing options that include Google Sheets integration. Use cutting-edge tools for roster management, event planning, and recruit automation with their advanced Discord bot and in-game add-on. Join over 110,000 accounts, 10,000 guilds, and 2.5 million characters thriving on the platform. Customize your guild page, showcase moments, and boost your online presence with custom domains and Twitch integration. Stay ahead of the curve with Guilds of WoW today.
Go Go Gadget Kat, which is still a great name.
Thank you.
End every episode with a 10-question questionnaire, and if you are ready, I would like to ask you those now. Are you ready? Okay,
yes.
Here we go. Question number 1, and you know what's fun? I'm going to tell you a little inside baseball here. Here's a little behind the scenes.
Oh, I'm ready.
In the document that we send out to every guest, these questions are listed, and they're not numbered.
Yeah.
Forget what number I'm on every single episode.
No.
And I don't know why I don't just number them. But here we go. Question number 1. What is your favorite word?
Shenanigans is my favorite word.
Oh, that's a good word. And you know, I feel like it's a little bit fitting.
Yes, it absolutely is. It just reminds me of my guild and my friends and our silly nonsense. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite.
Good word. Good answer. Question number 2. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word is actually when it's used seriously and not ironically, because I always know when somebody says actually, the phrase that comes behind it is generally something invalidating and crappy, and it's the worst. So.
Yeah. And almost always wrong.
Yeah. Oh, of
surprisingly,
course.
People who do that are surprisingly wrong a lot.
The loudest people who are the most willing to correct are generally the most wrong. So, yeah.
I love it. Question number 3. What sound or noise do you love?
I love the rain, and I love waves, which is really silly because I live in Colorado, and we really don't get much of either of those.
Yeah, not a lot of waves in Colorado.
No, not so much, no.
Okay. Move? Question.
Yeah, right? Ooh, get me out of here.
Question number 4. What sound or noise do you hate?
Snoring. Snoring is the worst.
Mr. Gadget, if you're listening, get a CPAP machine. Question, I guess I should say Mr. or Mrs. Gadget. Question number 5. What is your favorite dungeon?
This was a hard one. I had to think about this for a long time. I even went on Wowhead and looked at all the dungeons. I think it's Freeholds.
Ooh.
I think. Great pulls.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun.
Yep.
Kind of hate the shark part as the healer.
Yeah, because it's your job.
Yeah, exactly. Hate it. The
right. Yeah. No, I get that. That makes sense. And that's sort of a joke, but the shark job, that really is the healer job. Healers are listening.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it sure is.
Yeah. Question, at least you don't have to deal with it on weeks like when you also have affixes that are your job.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And now I've lost my number. Question number 6. What is your least favorite dungeon?
Okay, I'm really sorry, Blizzard, but I've been testing dungeons on beta, and the Dawnbreaker is the worst. Ooh. It is the worst. Please, it's the worst. It's the worst thing. You're flying all over the place. You have to follow that stupid Zeppelin, and it's going 1,000,000,000 miles an hour. Right? I don't know how you're supposed to keep up. And then it just goes somewhere, and you're supposed to just know where it lands. And if you land in the wrong place, then you just die, and you look like a big dummy. It's the worst. Everything about it is the worst dungeon. I hate it.
It is wild how fast that little Zeppelin goes.
Why is it so fast?
Yeah. And I think it starts based on the first person to fly. So if anybody on your team has slightly less ping,
flyers,
you're fucked.
I am never running that with anybody who's good at dragon flying ever again.
Yeah. Well, you can run it with me because I am terrible at dragon flying.
Perfect. Great. Me too. Perfect.
Yep. We'll be slow together. We'll both be going, where is the Zeppelin?
You don't know where you're landing and where did it land? Where does it land ever? And then apparently after the dungeon's done, you can still die because the priests who are supposed to be there and light the way or whatever dumb thing sometimes aren't there, and so the void priests just blow you up when you just die, and so you're standing there waiting for your chest and you're just dead. I mean, come on. It's the worst. It's the
worst. Season 1, War Within, coming soon. Question number 7. What is your favorite curse word?
Okay, I don't know if I could say this.
I mean, like if it's too difficult to say, I don't know, but you are allowed to say whatever word. I can't imagine it's any worse than the words we've gotten from the Australians and the Brits. So
no, probably not. So, okay, I never cursed in front of my mom until I was like 23 or something. And I happened to be sitting with my sister at my mom's house, and we were working on papers or something. And all of a sudden I couldn't get into my account, and I said, "Oh, fuck nuggets," really loud. And it was the first curse word I'd ever said in front of my mom. And my sister just looked at me, mouth open, eyes wide. And my mom goes, "Did you just say a curse word?" And then she was happy and everything was fine. But that was the first thing I ever said in front of my mom that was even remotely a curse word. And now it's my favorite because it's a hilarious story.
Now I don't know if the episode will be called Fuck Nuggets or Everybody Touch Butts. I guess I probably can't put Fuck Nuggets in the thumbnail. So, question number 8. What is your favorite raid?
Ooh, okay. Sorry, I'm going to be that person. I have 2.
That's okay.
Nighthold, best aesthetics, hands down.
Yeah.
Beautiful raid. Vault of the Incarnates, very meaningful for me as a member of guild leadership. I had my raid leader and both of my tanks and 3 officers retire after Shadowlands. So yes, that's pretty much what my heart did when they all told me around the same time that they needed to retire. I just went, oh.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
Do you think they told each other? Like, hey, I'm retiring next season. Oh, shit, I'm retiring next season.
No, I don't think that much thought into it.
We're all retiring next season. Who's gonna tell Kat? How about we just don't tell her?
Yeah, they kind of staggered in, which maybe was planned.
Right.
But yeah, terrifying season, terrifying tier to come into a new expansion and a new tier with 2 new tanks, a new raid leader, and new guild leadership. But we smashed it. We did a great job in Vault of the Incarnates, and I'm very proud. Very proud.
Nice.
Great tier for us.
That's a great answer. Those are both good answers. I liked Vault of the Incarnates. I thought it was a great raid. And Nighthold, as a fellow Blood Elf fan, as your original Warcraft pushing boyfriend, I think the aesthetics in Nighthold is incredible because it matches Blood Elves so well.
It's so pretty in there. And the room up to Starcaller where there are stars on the ceiling. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and then that fight as the dome opens up. Oh, yeah.
So good.
That's great. Let's go back to Nighthold.
I know, right? God, beautiful raid. Except that part with the broken bridge, like that guy kind of ruined it, but
we don't talk about Bruno. Question number 9.
We'll wall him off and forget about him.
That's right. Yes, she got the Encanto reference. 10 out of 10, no notes. Question number 9. What is your least favorite raid?
Emerald Nightmare, not that great.
Really? I don't even care. I'm so happy you got the Encanto reference.
Of course. Oh, great movie.
Yeah.
So good.
That song, Surface Pressure, is the most played song I've had for like the last 2 years.
Oh my God, same. And I found the artist on TikTok, and then I found her covers on Spotify, and
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I have some searching to do. All right, Emerald Dream, it sucks. Question number 10. Mazaroth is real. Where would you call home?
So I always really hoped that we would like clear the baddies out of Suramar and then get to hang out in Suramar, and we never did, which was a huge bummer because again, great aesthetics, beautiful city. I would definitely live there.
Yeah, that would be a good spot. You could wear the masquerade mask and hang out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great tie-in. Totally.
Yeah. Well, that's where the first Visage party should be, or group photo. Suramar. I love it. Kat, that's the whole episode. That's it. We did it.
We did it.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm really honored.
It was absolutely my pleasure. Can you tell our listeners, not physically, don't give your address, but where they can find you online?
You can find me on Discord in the Visage community. You can find me on Twitter at Go Go Gadget Kat. That's probably where I reside the most. I would love to see you in Visage. Please come check us out. We are really fun and really great. And we really need mentors. So if you are a CE Raider and you're looking for something cool to do, come help us teach new people.
Can't confirm. Great spot to be.
Thank you.
And for the listeners and the friends, thank you so much for being here with this episode for us. We will see you in the next one. And remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Yay.